everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you some of the tips and tricks that I have to help with studying or working from home and to help you become a lot more productive. I'm sure a lot of you are in the same position that I have found myself in, either working or studying from home for the foreseeable future. I have created a few tips and tricks over the past couple of months that have really helped me to adjust to the new way of working and have really helped me become a lot more productive. My first tip is to create a workspace that you love. As important as it is to have a workspace that is comfortable for you to work in, it's really important that you also love the space that you work from, because this is just going to make you so much more productive. If you're lucky enough to have a separate room in your home that you're able to set this space up in, I am so jealous and you're so lucky. However, if you're like me and your bedroom has now become your office, these are just a few tips that I have put into place that have really helped me create that work-life balance in this room and really help with my productivity. So the first thing I did was I decluttered my desk. As soon as I finished uni, my desk became a dumping ground for clutter. And it wasn't necessarily messy, but there was just so much stuff that when I began working from home and using my desk again as a workspace, it just was not working. Following on from that, it is so important to keep your surrounding space tidy. Tidy house equals tidy mind, and it's so true. So because I work from my bedroom, I make sure that I've picked up any clothes, I've put anything away that, I've just left sitting out, and I always make my bed in the morning, always. On the topic of beds, don't work from your bed. It doesn't work. I promise you, working from your bed is just detrimental to your productivity. My next tip is to get up and get ready for the day. And now I don't mean get up, put a full face of makeup on, put an outfit on as if you just stepped off the runway at New York Fashion Week. I just mean get up, have a shower, do your skincare, and just get changed out of your pajamas. It's so easy to get into the habit of just rolling out of bed, going to wherever you're working from in your pajamas and not having your shower until 3 in the afternoon. Yes, it's gross, but we've all been there. At the beginning of lockdown, that's where I was, and I just thought, no, enough is enough. And as soon as I started just getting up and getting myself ready for the day, I found myself becoming a lot more productive and I was able to get a lot more done. My next tip is to take regular breaks. Even if it's just 5 minutes every hour to go and grab a cup of coffee or just sit and scroll on your phone for 5 minutes. These are so important for your productivity, but make sure that you're only taking 5 or 10 minutes. Don't get lost in scrolling on Instagram or watching YouTube videos. I find that if I worked for more than an hour and a half without taking some sort of break just to go and get a cup of coffee or just have a wee dander around my house, my productivity levels just started to drop. But as soon as I started implementing 5-minute breaks every hour and a half, it really helped me get a lot more done. It's also really important to take longer breaks throughout the day. I fell into the trap of every time I took a break, I would stay at my desk, and when I was eating my lunch, I'd stay at my desk. And then it meant that when I had stopped doing what I was doing, I went straight back to work and I wasn't having proper breaks. So now I make sure that when I'm taking a longer break, I shut everything down and I step away from my workspace. And this has really helped me because it gets me out of my working mind and allows me to clear my head. I like to use my longer breaks to get myself out of the house. So I'll go for a run, or if I've decided to do some other form of exercise that day, I will go on a walk on one of my longer breaks. I just find this is so helpful to clear your head. When you're working where you're living, it can become really daunting to be in that space for a long amount of time. So it's so important to get yourself out and just clear your head. My next tip is to plan your week, but prioritize your days. I know a lot of people like to plan on a Sunday, but I'm not like that. I like my weekends to be my weekends and I don't like to think about work. So I get up a little bit earlier on a Monday morning and I sit down for half an hour with my cup of coffee and I just look through my Google Calendar and I plan my week based on whatever meetings or deadlines I have. Then at the beginning of each day, I'll look through what I had originally planned for that day and I will prioritize the tasks. Prioritizing tasks is so important because I feel like once I've got the big tasks that I really needed to get done out of the way, the little tasks just naturally follow because I'm already in that productive mindset, because I've been able to tick off something on my list I really needed to get done. I also use a desk planner, but I really want to start utilizing my iPad for this. So if anyone has any recommendations of weekly templates, please let me know. So following on from that, I think it's really important to also plan your time. When I'm finished prioritizing my tasks for the day, I'll then sit down and allocate time to each task and how long I think it will take me to complete. To aid in this, I really recommend the Focus app, I discovered this app in uni. Once I explain it, it's going to sound a bit silly, but I promise it works. So basically, you put in a time interval, so say an hour, and you want to work solidly for that hour. Then the app plants a tree. And if you leave the app, your tree dies. And if you don't leave the app or use your phone within that hour, your tree grows and it gets slotted into your little forest. And I promise, yes, it does sound silly, but it does work. Even though it means nothing, it is a little achievement, and you feel so good when you see your forest kind of build up a bit. So I would highly recommend that. My last tip is to have something to look forward to. And I don't mean a big reward at the end of the week. I mean little things throughout the day that you can look forward to after completing tasks. I found that when I said to myself, okay, if I study for 8 hours, Monday through Friday, then on Saturday I can buy myself a top or I can buy myself a pair of shoes. I find that really counterproductive because the end goal seems so far away, whereas now I like to schedule in little rewards throughout the day. So I'll say, okay, if I finish tasks 1 and 2 on my to-do list, I can go and get a Starbucks. Having those little rewards to look forward to often helps me work faster, because I know that once I get these tasks done, then I can go and reward myself with whatever it is that I had allocated. So going for a coffee or watching a TV show, I know that once I have these tasks done, then I can do that freely and not feel the burden of what I'd set myself to do. And you can also treat yourself to bigger things too. You don't have to stop treating yourself to those. If you have a big project coming up that is made up of lots of little tasks, or you have an exam coming up where you have to study 7 chapters, you can reward yourself with small things such as going for a coffee or watching a YouTube video once you've ticked off smaller tasks, or once you've completed each section that you need to study. And then at the end, once you've done your exam or once your project deadline has been met, you can treat yourself with something bigger, and it's just a win-win. Just treat yourself all the time. I do. So those are just some of my generic tips for working and studying from home. I really hope that some of these help you out. I will do a more study-focused one in the future. I lived at home during uni, so I studied here a lot. So I definitely know some tips and tricks for studying from home. But I just wanted to start with a more generic one because of the current situation we're in. I know a lot of people are finding themselves in the situation where they're now working from home as well, when they may not have ever had that dynamic before. So I really hope some of these tips helped you out. Let me know if you have any more in the comments below. I am open to any tips and tricks that you have. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I really hope you did, and I hope to see you in my next video.